Well, as I record this, the Clinton campaign has decided to join in the three-state election recount launched by Green Party candidate Jill Stein, who's raised a lot of money, around $7 million so far, to pay for this goat rodeo. Now that means that Jill Stein has raised twice as much money to recount votes as she did trying to get them in the first place. Now, of course, any additional money raised by Jill Stein she gets to keep. My guess is that that will result in a few very well-paying social welfare jobs to keep these socialists rolling in the cash that they didn't earn. Now, this kind of petty money grubbing and grandstanding is the left wing doing what it does best, childishly running around, stomping and screaming for attention at a dinner party intended for adults. So why did Hillary Clinton decide to attach her name, her campaign's name, and the Democratic Party brand to all of this foolishness? Why? Well, Democrats can always be counted on to find a few hundred missing votes somewhere. But Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania were all won by significantly bigger margins, and Hillary needs to overturn all of them in order to crawl back into the presidency. That's not going to happen, and everybody knows it. So, why is she battering the already ruined Democratic Party with all of this nonsense? Well, the recount will not change the results of the election, but it could change how Donald Trump gets elected. It's a long shot, admittedly, but if the recount ties up the electoral votes of these three states when the Electoral College meets in mid-December, then neither Trump nor Clinton will have the 270 electoral votes needed to become president. Now, under such a scenario, the decision would fall on the Republican majority House of Representatives, who would, of course, immediately vote to elect Donald Trump. But for the rest of his term, Democrats would be able to claim that neither of them had the magic 270, that Hillary won the popular vote by about 2 million people, and that Donald Trump was not elected, but selected. They mean to do to Trump what they did to George W. Bush, and that is delegitimize him before he even takes office. Now, Donald Trump was exceptionally generous to Hillary Clinton after she conceded. Trump was magnanimous, he was kind, he was in fact presidential. But, as it turns out, the only two politicians to not accept the results of an election are Democrat Al Gore in 2000 and now Democrat Hillary Clinton seems to think that she can throw in the towel, stop the fight, retire to her corner, sit on the stool, stop the bleeding, eat a sandwich, and then a half hour later, walk up to the winner sitting at ease with his happy and proud family and smash him in the head with a chair. That's the kind of honor you find among these progressive thieves, and you should get used to it, America. If you think that cocaine-snorting Hollywood celebrities, backroom Washington corruption mongers, and metrosexual New York aristocrats are going to let themselves be embarrassed by the stupid, racist, hateful, woman-hating American people out there in flyover country, well, you have another think coming. Now, you see this row of buses behind me? The city of Chicago, it's the scene of one of the largest and the most violent and lawless of the anti-Trump protests. Now, why are these buses here? Because someone paid for them to be here, that's why. And the same people paid for the mob that filled all of these buses, paid them to smash buildings and smash young women, paid them to rip up Trump signs as well as rip up the fabric of our society, paid them to be a violent private army to convince the American people that it was the Trump supporters who were vicious and destructive, and we have their own emails to prove it. Now, when it was announced that Hillary Clinton was not going to come out and comfort and console her followers, but instead literally left them standing out in the cold, I shouted, "Coward!" at the top of my lungs directly at the TV screen. The concession speech is a ritual. It's an important ritual. But in place of that grace, that closure, her tearful followers got a surly John Podesta speaking for Hillary, claiming that some states were still too close to call and that the election was still in play and that they should go home heartbroken, while meanwhile, their psychopathic idol was calling Donald Trump to concede in between fits of screaming, cursing, and smashing things. They are miserable, gutless cowards. Now, I think this will be your final disgrace, Hillary Clinton, so please just go home. Take that rapist husband of yours and your entitled, unpleasant, talent-free daughter with you. The three of you just go away and pray to God that you do not get what you deserve. Drag your Saudi terrorism money, your Goldman Sachs private position millions, and that utterly corrupt, treasonous carcass off the stage and just fade away. A small, small person getting tinier right in front of our eyes. Go home and stay home, while the rest of America sits down and tries to stop shaking from the whizzing sound of that bullet that we just dodged. We need your help to keep these messages coming. If you want to help us make a difference, please go to billwhittle.com and become a member.